The Prime Minister is holding an emergency cabinet meeting today, seeking approval from ministers for his plan to recognise a Palestinian state.
Well, it comes after President Trump appeared to depart from unwavering support for Israel during his meeting with Sir Keir Starmer in Scotland. We're joined now by Technology Secretary Peter Kyle. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Is there going to be agreement then on what happens with this situation? Because, you know, we know that top cabinet ministers Angela Rayner, Yvette Cooper, Wes Streeting have called for it to happen now. Is that what is going to be agreed in this cabinet meeting?
Well, our manifesto had the commitment to delivering Palestinian statehood. It's been an objective of the Labour Party for a long time to do so. Today we have a cabinet meeting. I think it reflects the seriousness of the situation. Of course, we've been deeply moved and disgusted by the conditions in Gaza for a long time now. We've done everything we can possibly do to make an impact on that. But the pictures coming out in the recent days and the images have shocked the Prime Minister, shocked the entire government and shocked the entire country. So it's right that the Prime Minister calls an emergency cabinet meeting, as he's done today, so that we can discuss the immediate situation, which is clearly the need to get as much aid and support and assistance into Gaza as quickly as possible, but also to start thinking about the long-term peace and stability of the region, for which Palestinian statehood must play a crucial step towards.
Thank you. Let's just move on to the online safety bill. I know you were talking to us on Friday about the challenge of enacting that. Lot of concern about what is happening online and the impact upon our children, child abuse, child pornography being available. Nigel Farage, the leader of Reform, said yesterday in his press conference that it's going to be scrapped if there is a Reform government, that it's an assault on free speech.
You have to understand that the Online Safety Act has in it the duty to prevent the grooming of children by predators. The Online Safety Act prevents under-13s from having access to the social media platforms, most of which have messaging apps for which adults can contact children. So be in no doubt at all. If you want to overturn the Online Safety Act, you are on the side of predators, not those who want to keep children safe. Nigel Farage is on the side of predators, and make no doubt about it.
Well, Nigel Farage has made a comment about what you've said this morning concerning that. He said Peter Kyle's comments on Sky News are disgusting. He should do the right thing and apologise. Are you going to apologise?
As I said, if you want to overturn the Online Safety Act, you are on the side of predators and paedophiles. Nigel Farage wants to overturn the Online Safety Act that puts in it the duty to prevent children from being groomed by paedophiles, that prevents adults from contacting children who don't know each other, strangers contacting children. This is an act that is the biggest step forward in the experience that children have online since the creation of the internet, the biggest step forward in the safety of children across Britain since the internet was created. And Nigel Farage wants to overturn all of that, to send it back to the days when predators and paedophiles could contact children. So I am not going to apologise for pointing out the obvious. He wants to overturn those measures. I will stay steadfast to make sure that children are kept safe in the digital age, just as we strive to keep children safe in the online world, offline world as well.
I think, Peter Kyle, what Nigel Farage is asking you to apologise for is saying earlier this morning that if Jimmy Savile were still alive, he would be perpetrating his terrible crimes online, and that you're saying Nigel Farage is on the side of Jimmy Savile and people like him.
There are people like Jimmy Savile who are trying to get access to children online that will be prevented from doing so by the Online Safety Act. Nigel Farage wants to overturn the very laws that are preventing that from happening. He is on the side of people like Jimmy Savile, and I'm not going to apologise for saying so. It is about time that Nigel Farage was held to account for the words that he says, the actions that he takes, because this is politics. We have taken the action to prevent those things happening to children in our country. And Nigel Farage wants to throw all of that away, to turn the clock back. I will not apologise for pointing it out. Nigel Farage needs to be held to account for the dangerous policies that he is trying to impose on children across our country.
Although these measures aren't working in exactly the way that you'd foreseen, had they? Because we understand that there are a number of people who are able to circumvent the age verification checks by using these VPNs, these virtual private networks. There's been a surge in the applications for these, the number of people using these, and it's a way for people to be able to get round the age verification checks. So it essentially makes the Online Safety Act and that part of it meaningless, doesn't it?
So we've seen a percentage rise in the VPNs being downloaded, but the companies themselves won't release the actual numbers. What we do know for a fact is that the age verification software, such as Yoti, which is the leading one, has now been downloaded 6.5 million times. So we know that there are millions of adults out there, for people out there, who are willing to do the honest thing, which is prove their age. Now, look, I've never said, and when I was on the programme with you just recently, I've never said that we are going to prevent every bit of harmful content from finding its way into children's feeds. But if we get 50, 60, 70, maybe even 80 or 90% of the way there, then believe me, that's a pretty good day at work. Our country is safer, our children are safer as a result. So where we do look at those people who do want to circumvent the rules, I say to them directly, please do the right thing, because every time you prove your age, you keep children safe across Britain. It is a minority of people who are trying to use the VPNs. I urge them not to.
Can I ask you also about another challenge, which is the growing use of encryption in social media? We were discussing yesterday with the National Crime Agency the way in which encryption allows criminal activity to be shielded. We know from the National Crime Agency a couple of months ago there's been a big fall in reporting of child sex abuse because Facebook is encrypting its Facebook Messenger system. It was reported last week in the Financial Times, officials from your department saying that we need to be soft on this with the Americans. They said one of the challenges for the tech partnerships we're working on with the Americans is the encryption issue. It's a big red line in the US. They don't want us messing with their tech companies. Peter Kyle, don't you need to mess with American tech companies if you're going to tackle this issue and keep children safe in the way that you say you want to?
Well, I think you can see from the previous conversation we've had that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to keep children safe in our country, anything that works. I've also outlawed intimate image abuse, which happened earlier this year. That is making it illegal for tech platforms to share the images for non-consensual sharing of sensitive and sexualised images of other people. So I've done an awful lot to make sure that we can hold these companies to account and encourage them to do more when it comes to the safety of all people, but particularly children and vulnerable people across our country. When it comes to end-to-end encryption, this is a challenge for everyone, and I accept that. And I can certainly say that on behalf of my department, the Department for Science, Innovation and Technology, we take extremely seriously the need to protect people in all environments online. And I would never, ever encourage anyone to go soft for any purposes. End-to-end encryption is very popular across the United Kingdom, as it is globally. There are real reasons why people would want to have discreet conversations with family members and friends and others and to be reassured that their messages and their conversations are safe and secure. There are lots of ways that our intelligence and enforcement agencies can have access to the content that people are using and the things they are saying. But I accept in that what's called the tunnel between two phones has provided a new set of challenges. We need to work very closely with the tech companies themselves and our international partners to find ways of keeping people safe as technology moves forward in all circumstances. End-to-end encryption is just one of the challenges that we face.
And I know today you want to talk about this innovation fund. How will this work?
Oh, this is an amazing fund. This is a fund I've already given mayoralties around the United Kingdom, £30 million, to start to drive the support for innovation locally. Well, now I'm announcing it in cities around the United Kingdom. So Belfast and Londonderry, for example, Cardiff and Glasgow are going to receive £30 million each. It means that, I just know that people in these cities, they have very, very deep roots into the communities, whether it's in universities or the private sector. There are these great innovations, but sometimes they struggle to get the venture capital funding or the private funding or the public funding to try and get the innovation off the drawing board and out there into the economy. So I want to give each the ability to really just root out some of the innovation that's coming off of the drawing board throughout their cities and to give that extra boost to get it off the drawing board, to start commercialising, to start upscaling, to start creating the jobs, the businesses and the wealth that will flow from it.
OK. Peter Kyle.
And when Vice President J.D. Vance says, don't mess with our tech companies, Peter Kyle, you're saying you are going to mess with their tech companies. You made that very clear today.
What I'm saying is we will do everything to keep children safe, just as they are in America, being led by the First Lady.
Peter Kyle, thanks very much for joining us this morning.